Disc Golf Podcast, an average podcast for the average disc golfer. As always, I'm Evan Amstutz, joined by a guy who struggles to drink water without choking on it, Dan Hesser. We're happy you could join us. Dan, how are you doing today?
Me and Donald Trump have something in common, I guess. An ability to drink water.
Before we started, like as I hit record, Dan started just choking on water. So.
Yeah. So, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing well. Long weekend of disc golf. So this week I'm just playing fun rounds, trying new discs, trying new lines. Played 2 rounds of glow, just having a good time.
Yeah, did you get a chance to play with the carries?
Yeah, I did. My wife and I got to play with Deanne at Glow, and
Nice.
a lot of fun. Deanne was great. Helped out my wife with a couple of things, and Glow's just fun.
You played New World, that course that
Mhm.
they set up that used to be a putter course that's no longer a putter course?
Yeah, and I know you said that, but I didn't like entirely take your word for it. So the fastest thing I had was a 9-speed.
Hmm.
Still
Listen to
shot
Dan.
still
He's
shot
got
8
you.
down. Got paired
Nice.
up with my wife by request because she is going to be playing the Queen Bee Bash. So
Heck
we
yeah.
figured that would be a good opportunity for her to go out and have fun, but play in front of people she's never played with before
Mm-hmm.
and that aren't like my close
Crazy.
friends. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just a good practice, good experience, and she got to play and realize that she's not as bad as she thinks she is. So
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I think me and Stitch, Big Greg.
mm-hmm.
I think Greg was kind of off his game a little bit when we
Mm-hmm.
played together. Um, so it was me and Josh Young pretty much playing against each other. I
Mm-hmm.
think I shot 11 down and he shot 12.
Nice.
Yeah, but I had my full bag because AJ warned me that it wasn't a putter course. So had a little bit of advantage there.
Yeah, and a lot of my stuff isn't glow. So like my distance drive, my Octane, that's just my distance driver, I didn't like even think to bring
Right.
because it's not glow and they said they weren't going to have glow tape. So I wasn't willing to sacrifice a Fission Octane, which I've had a hard time tracking down
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
go play New World Glow. But it's a good
Checks
time.
out. Yeah.
Everybody should play glow and everybody should have a glow set of discs because that's where I'm starting to get where I should when glow season rolls around I should just roll out a bag of glow discs.
Yeah. Like those mini grip bags full of,
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I also got to play a little bit this weekend.
Uh-huh.
Um, so there's they have an AM day and a pro day here every other weekend.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize it alternated because
Hmm.
I'm an idiot, but it alternates
Your words,
Saturday,
not mine.
Sunday. Yeah, checks out. And so I woke up Saturday morning. It's kind of, slow morning. Figured I'd check the scores about 8 o'clock to see how the pros were shooting. And there's no scores. And I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? So I switch over to the AMs and I see that the AMs are playing. And I'm like, what the? And then I realized that they switched and the AMs were playing on Saturday and the pros were playing on Sunday.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just play pro. So I did. That was fun.
How'd that go?
um, Pros are better than me. I got to battle with a guy named Scott Withers.
Just a little known name.
Little known name. And Scotty lit it up, shot like a 1060 and a 1055,
Hmm.
and managed to win the thing. Crazy. And yeah, like my 950 rated rounds were okay, but not quite to that
Yeah.
level. But it was a good time. I realized that if I added about 100 feet of distance, I could be a very competitive MPO player. So
Small task.
just need to add 100 feet. Well, I could probably do 50 feet, maybe 50 feet, and better putting.
You could always be a better putter.
I think so. I think 50 feet and better putting, or 25 feet and exceptionally better putting. I mean, I'm gonna start somewhere.
That's fair. Set your expectations.
Yeah, like if I can bang every putt for 75 feet in, I only have to gain 20 feet of distance.
It's like the Robbie C video
fine.
that we were talking about. Instead of 250 feet, you need to bang everything from 250 feet.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
anybody can be a 1,000 rated player if they can throw in from 150 feet, guaranteed.
Consistently, yeah, exactly. No, I, yeah, I, I think I missed one inside the circle putt the entire tournament, which was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just didn't have like the extra oomph of distance
Right.
to really be scoreable.
It's always interesting when you get to play with those like the touring pros
Mm,
and get to see how they play, because you
mm,
have that difference between your local pro who's like 990 1,000 rated,
mm-hmm,
and you're like, oh wow, that person's absolutely incredible. And then like comparing my rating to our guest coming up, uh about 60-ish points distant difference.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, that's just about the gap between him and the best players in the world that you'd have to be competing against to be
Mm-hmm.
viable on tour.
Right.
So the difference between my MA1 mediocre butt and the legendary local pro is the same, almost the same as legendary
Yeah.
local pro versus world number one.
Touring pros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely got some things I want to ask when it kind of how in all realistic, I, for instance, on this course I'm playing or I was playing, there's a lot of really steep cliff drop offs, right? Right past the basket, it just drops off. And my am self um, knows that I should not run that. I should lay it up and take my easy par and move on to the next hole,
Mm-hmm.
right? At 35, 40 feet, even at yeah, 35 circles edge and out, I should lay it up because anything happens, literally it's on the edge. There's no behind the basket. If
Mm-hmm.
it goes past the basket, it's rolling probably 75 to 100 feet.
Right.
At what point do you just start making those or running those? You
I
know what I
was
mean? Like that. If you make those putts, which there's probably like 8 or 9 of them, throughout the course of the tournament,
mhm.
you make those putts, you're 8 or 9 strokes better. You're in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You lay them up, no harm, no foul. The other guy in my car ran them and took doubles on each time. So, I mean, what do you do?
I don't know, man. Why don't we pull in our MPO guest and find out? This week's episode is brought to you by The Disc Shop. One of the best days for a disc golfer is New Disc Day. With different runs of discs, the best way to get exactly what you want is by seeing what you're buying. The Disc Shop in Middleburg, Florida has the largest selection in store in Jacksonville. Want the latest from Discmania? The Disc Shop has you covered. Looking for starter kits to introduce your friends? Head on down to the Disc Shop. If you prefer the convenience of online shopping, head over to thediscshop.com for all your disc golf needs. Listeners get 10% off when using the code MDGPOD at checkout online or by mentioning the podcast while in store. Located halfway between Trinity and Ronnie Van Zant, the Disc Shop is the spot. So this week we're bringing on Jacksonville local legend Aaron Doyle. Aaron, welcome back. Third time, 1 year after the start of the podcast. First
What's good, baby?
three-timer.
First three-timer? Are you serious?
Yeah,
How many times have I been on the podcast?
Three
three.
times now.
3 times. No way. Well, Well, I'm great. How are you guys?
He's gonna flip this interview around. This is gonna get weird.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. No, honestly, thanks for coming on. We wanted to bring you back on. It is our anniversary, 1 year been doing it, so wanted to kind of go full circle, bring you back on, kind of talk about what's been going on in your life. You were just before we hit record, you were telling us a little bit about your travel plans.
Oh yeah, so I'm planning a trip to Japan in like I think it's like middle, almost towards like the end of April to like the second week of like May. I've been obsessed with the Japanese culture, so I just want to just go and just experience it. Um, Gonna go to Tokyo for a week, and then one of my friends is stationed at Okinawa. I'm gonna stay with him and his wife for a week, and then after that, fly back to Tokyo, spend that week in a hostel, and then come back to America.
Are you planning on playing any rounds when you're there?
I'm gonna bring a couple discs. I'm definitely bringing a fanny pack. Can't fit disc in there, but I'm bringing a fanny pack. My backpack, I'm probably gonna put like a mid range, a driver, and a putter, and just if I find a course close by, I'll play it. But I'm definitely bringing my pickleball paddle though,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Is that as big over there as it is over here?
Indoor pickleball is very popular in Japan, from what I've
Hmm.
seen. Yeah, but where I'm staying, there's not like too many places. Like since like taking the was it the taking the train is like very common, especially in Tokyo. So I think like the train rides like maybe in like 45 minutes to an hour to get across town to go play. So I might do that one night.
Yeah. Mediocre transportation podcast comment here. When I went out to California, I took the train from Santa Cruz up to San Francisco, and that was a very pleasant experience. We need more trains.
Yeah. Public transportation in general, that's not like some 30-year-old bus that's kind of it's, I mean, honestly though.
Yeah, $5 to go. I forget how many miles from Santa Cruz up to San Francisco, but hour and a half. Sat there, listened to a podcast, chilled out,
It's brilliant.
arrived at my stop, and got off.
It's crazy how in America, like you can't really, if you want to get to places faster, like you just have to drive. There's no way getting
Yeah.
around it. You can't walk and check things out unless you're in a very small town. But yeah, I didn't even know that they still use transportation like that in California.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, like light rails and a bunch of other stuff. It's
That's
super
cool. So
nice.
it all connects to like a general, like there's different train stations you could go to and everything. It all connects and like goes
Mhm.
their own
Yeah,
routes.
it's
Well,
like
that's
the
cool.
it's like the commuter train from San Jose and Santa Cruz up to San Francisco. Like goes through Mountain View and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That'd be cool to get like some videos and like, maybe put a YouTube video on that.
Bro, I'm so from coming from the East Coast and going to the West Coast, a lot of the like even like the buses, like there's an app that you can download that'll show you when the buses arrive and like how far away they are, and you could just hop on different buses and then go get to the train and continue. It's so easy, bro. And yeah, East Coast is definitely lacking.
I've been watching some YouTube videos on like how to get around in like Tokyo and everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
so they say if you're trying to catch like the last train to head back to wherever you're going, make sure you plan it to when like you want to get there. They'll tell you like the exact time of like when you have to leave to start heading to the train or train station and all that. And it's pretty neat how it all works out. It's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about you've been playing a lot more pickleball than normal?
Oh yeah, I've been playing a lot. Like a lot.
Like a lot,
A
lot?
lot. A
Like
lot.
tournaments?
That's a lot. No, so me and Bryce Carlton, we're signed up for a tournament. It's in St. Augustine. It's at the end of this month.
Dude, I miss Bryce. He's such a nice guy.
I love Bryce. He's so cool. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's good to hang out with. He's
He
a good
really
guy.
is. Yeah.
Definitely.
There's a lot of transition to a lot of pro disc golfers starting to play pickleball.
Yeah. What was it? I was in Savannah a few weeks ago, and Zach Melton apparently is like super good at pickleball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't we couldn't find a time to play with Zach, but yeah, I heard he's like really really good. He's played a couple tournaments and won a couple tournaments.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they have their own like rating system, like how disc golf does. Except,
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
they're like the pickleball's rating system's like tennis. If y'all are familiar with like the tennis system,
Not at all.
it goes by like pro level is like 5.0, and like so the way you get a rating is that you play a tournament, and they watch how you play, and like depending on like the shot, like if you're consistently doing like certain shots better than others, then they'll rate you based on that. Like
Mm.
Interesting.
very interesting. Or you could go to like there's like some coach that will like he'll like pretty much evaluate people like as they like practice and like and play.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You get to play with anybody super cool? Maybe.
Well, since you're leading into this, Seven, so there's Donner Park that's down the road for me, and so Macbeth actually goes there. He's pretty much every time me and Bryce go to Donner, Macbeth's at Donner. Like him and Hannah are out there. Um, the other week, the like people from his foundation were out there.
Mhm.
The Paul Macbeth Foundation, they were out there. Maybe a month ago, like Brandon Latta, Justin Rozak, like they were out there. So it's cool seeing the traffic and stuff that he like, pulls into Jacksonville, even like non-disc golf related. Like,
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. It's cool to get out there. So when you were in Savannah, was that for the Savannah Open that you were playing at?
yeah, played Savannah Open. It was 3 rounds at Tom Triplet. Um, love that course. The course is so much fun. But every
It's a
year at
great course.
Savannah, it's super cold and it rains at least one round. And like I love the people that go out there. Like I love Val, who runs the event. I love seeing
Mhm.
her. But yeah, it's like the weather's always just so terrible every year. But I keep going back, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, I was driving up to Augusta to go play IDGC that weekend. And so when we kind of hit that turnpike, we're like, oh, we could go watch the Savannah Open. And they're like, nah, it's cold. We'll keep driving.
Yeah, you did you weren't missing much.
How did it go?
It went okay. Like it definitely wasn't my weekend by a long stretch, but it was like a very even kill. Like my putting was okay, my tee shots were okay. Uh, I wasn't really scrambling all that well. I think I lost most of my strokes scrambling because tee shots weren't bad, but still be left with like 100 foot up shot and find a way to butcher it. But
That's what Sean Triplett will do to you.
I'm telling you, man, like it was it was a weird weekend. Had a good time hanging out with the boys. So that was cool. We got what was it, Saturday night? We went to Boston's Pizza, I think, and we watched the Jaguars game when they came back against the Chargers.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
game. So something I was kind of curious about, and hopefully you can kind of offer your advice on this, talking about your scrambling and talking about different things like that. I got to play in my first MPO tournament this weekend.
How'd that go?
And well, it didn't go as bad as I thought it was going to go.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I came in 12th out of like 30 people.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah, it's
That's
okay.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's your first MPO out of 30 people. That's great.
Yeah. So I got I think where I probably lost most of my strokes is this particular course had a lot of like death putts, if you will, where the baskets were right on the edge of cliffs or right on the edge of
Oh,
hills. So if you missed them, you were just going forever down, right?
yeah.
So I was laying it up because it wasn't worth it to me to take a 4 or
Right.
5. I was just gonna, lay up and tap in. Some of the other people on my card were going for it and suffering when they missed and going all the way down, and other people were going for it, making it, and kicking my butt. where do you kind of start getting that confidence to go for it? And I mean, at what point? Because I feel like if I would have gone for those putts, um, who knows if I would have made them, right? But like, let's just say that I went for them and made them, then I would have been easily top five. But because I chickened out and laid it out, um, I finished where I did. So, I mean, do you have any advice on that at all?
Um, it's tough because did you so how roughly how many hole like of the holes were like on these like mounds, and like was it pretty much every hole or
Five. There were five, and we
five?
played 2 rounds, so 10.
Did you get any like before you like approach these holes? Did you get any like you got like the first like 20-25 footer of the day or anything like that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. I was driving like trash, so all my putts were 25 feet.
It's it's tough because like my rule of thumb, like if I have to like do a jump,
Yeah,
then like I am probably not running it. If like the drop off's that steep, I'm just not even risking it.
right.
Um, there's like let's say if like earlier in the week, like I'm feeling good with my jump putt and I want to get a little frisky, during the
Hmm.
tournament, I'll run a couple, but like I would say if it's circle's edge, I'm 100% going for it regardless. Um,
Okay.
if I'm not very confident, like if it, for instance, if it's like a 3 round tournament or a 2 round tournament, whatever, first round, if it's like the iffy range, I'm just gonna lay it up. Like it is what it is. Like say, be happy just
Yeah.
getting the tap in three. But for most part, like circle's edge, I'm 98% of the time gonna go for it.
Yeah. So I was laying up from Circle's Edge, and I'm probably about 75% from Circle's Edge to make them.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the other guys on my card, like I said, I mean, one guy shot like plus 15 because he literally went for those and missed his comebackers, and then they rolled back down and blah 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 blah. Right? Like he got
Yeah.
out of me quick. So, gosh, it makes me. I guess that's the kind of the difference, right? Like because MA1, you lay them up. It's just not,
Yeah.
at least in my thinking, you just lay it up. And then that next level, MPO, you should run those, right? Like, is that kind of the natural transition or?
Yeah, like most pro players to an extent are pretty aggressive, but the aggression has to come with like the confidence. Um, the difference between like the aggression compared to a advanced player and a pro player is going to execute more than like the AM player. I mean, that sounds like,
Yeah,
stating
no,
the
no, no, that
obvious
makes
here.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, stating the obvious here, but like but yeah, like with advanced players, I feel like there's a false confidence, you know what I mean? Like they're confident that they'll make it, but they don't really understand that their execution rate is very low. With like pro players, not all, but most of them, they have the what how do you say it? They're like a I don't even know the word I'm trying. Can you guys help me out here? Like it's on the tip of my tongue.
The confidence.
Not the confidence, but they have like a good understanding of their execution rate, like that's combined with their confidence. You know what I mean?
Just risk assessment,
Yeah,
risk
yeah. Like
management.
they understand the risk rewards more, and
Hmm.
they know when like when to strike and when not to strike. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There was a better way I was trying to explain it, but I kind of ruined it.
How do you build up to that? Is that just years of experience and having
Just
tournaments like Dan did where you wish you'd run it, and then other tournaments where you do run it and you blow up, and just like learning when those opportunities are supposed to come up and when to take advantage of them?
yeah. Yeah, experience for sure. I mean, it does play a factor, but also like getting the reps, especially if you know that you are gonna have some of those like death putts, like
Mhm.
do a couple before the round or before the tournament. But it's just one of those things where it's like you're not really prepared until you're in the situation yourself. You're kind of like
Right.
assessing it from there. So that's where the experience comes in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like that's having that confidence is how you get to that next level, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Um, like that's the difference between what I shot a 950 rated round versus that and Scotty Withers who shot a 1060 rated round.
yeah, yeah. Yes. He does that. He does that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's pretty good, man.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. But yeah, no, it was just interesting to me to like see some of the because I played with some 1,000 rated players and the confidence that they had. Um, that even when they missed, and then they took their four because they missed their comebacker because it went 80 feet down the hill into shrubs. That
Yeah.
they just took their medicine and moved on, but they still ran the next one. Like they didn't let that, and it definitely said something to me as far as like their confidence level in their putt. And I laid both of them up, and I took pars. He took a bogey and a birdie, doing the same. So the score equaled out. But I
Right.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just interesting. It's just definitely interesting and kind of eye opening to know that like that's the next level, if that makes sense.
Yeah. See how their confidence goes when they miss like three straight,
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
know.
at some point it's just like, when should I lay this up? Because I still think I can make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. There's another guy in my car that I was telling you about that he felt like he could still make it all the way up into the end. And like I said, plus 15, it happens.
Ride or die, baby. he's like he, he's like, whatever. I'm sure he talked to his group of friends. You know what? Whatever happens today, at least I can tell you I full sent it. Okay.
I didn't lay it up. Oh, well.
His friends don't ask him any questions after the round's over. They just knew what happened.
He full
Why didn't
sent
you guys
everything.
tell me to not do that? Hey, you were full set on your mind, man. Do what you do.
Oh, well. Gosh. So what do you got coming up? Anything, what's your next one? You mentioned Throwdown?
Yeah, so my next one's Throwdown. So I know I was talking to you guys earlier, but I have like a wrist injury right now. Um, during like my like whenever I'm like pulling through my shot, my fingers are like just like losing grip strength.
Mhm.
So it's like it was hard for me like to hang on to the disc, and then like certain I could really only throw Anheuser shots. Like for some reason with my wrist up like this, I was able to like come over and keep a grip. But if I were to tilt my wrist down, like my middle finger, ring finger, my pinky finger would just like lose the strength and kind of just like flail out of my hand. So I talked to one of my buddies. He's an athletic trainer. I'm gonna go try to set up an appointment with him next week, see what's going on with that. In the meantime, I'm gonna take a little break. Um, but yeah, so hopefully I'm good by the time Throwdown gets here. But like, yeah, I think Throwdown is the end of March, beginning of April, something like that. Um, I love playing that tournament. I don't think I've missed that tournament the past 4 years. I think.
Nice.
Yeah,
What
I'm looking forward to it.
what kind of names do we got on the roster this year?
That's a pretty stacked
Honestly,
field.
I haven't even looked, to be honest with you.
Let's see. Top rated, we have Paul Macbeth at 1050, Thomas
Checks out.
Gilbert at
Checks out.
1022, Joseph Anderson at 1019, Sullivan Tipton at 1017,
Slowly. Okay, cool.
Aiden Scott 1015, AJ
Aiden,
Carey,
Aiden Scott, he's from North Carolina, isn't he?
uh
Who
no,
who's
Chattanooga.
the name?
Aiden
Aiden
Scott,
Scott.
Chattanooga,
Oh,
Tennessee.
Aiden Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know Aiden Scott.
AJ Carey, Benjamin Stemmen.
Yeah, Ben, that dude's a killer. That dude's super
uh,
good.
Micah Groth.
Okay, young gun.
Yep. Johnny will be there. Charlie Goodpasture will be there. Charlie's one of those guys that feels like every time there's a tournament with coverage, he somehow sneaks his way onto coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like Florida A tiers for the most part, like Charlie shows up.
Well, he made it on coverage for the main state championship as well, just
Yeah, and
randomly.
then that was cool coverage to watch too. I like that course.
I might be playing that this summer. I might go up and try to play
Oh.
the main state championship.
That'd be cool.
What summer in Maine? What, like 50 degrees, 60 degrees?
I think it's gonna be
Freaking
like 70. It's
gorgeous.
gonna be perfect. Yeah.
Lucky dog, you.
Cole Wareheim will be there. Some dude named Aaron will be there. Nate
I heard Aaron's a
Perkins.
loser.
Nate Perkins is coming back.
Yep.
Let's
Sick.
go.
His rating's really fallen off. That's surprising. He's 1,002 now.
He's been doing a lot with like Disc Golf Network. Like, I
Yeah,
know
Yeah.
he has other things going on than just disc golf.
his commentary game has been on the rise. So one thing rises, the other thing kind of. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's something that Simon's mentioned and I've talked to some friends about is like the more content creation you do, the more like the competitive side of your game falls off. But the more your competitive side of your game, like that's your focus, the more your content creation falls off. So it was interesting the other week when Simon said, "Hey, I'm gonna take a couple weeks off of vlogging and focus on his actual job."
Well, that's the thing. It's like if he gets enough content out there, he can just, kind of like, be low key for a little bit, pop out with another video. He's gonna get views, like no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or you could just like film a bunch of videos for like a month or 2 months straight, and then after that, just like slowly, edit them and then put them out like once a week, so you already have stuff lined up. You know what I mean?
So do you think at Throwdown, Paul's gonna take it down?
Probably.
I'd be surprised if he
Honestly,
did it, man.
let's just think about it. Like anytime, like if you have a Paul Macbeth, a Ricky Wysocki, Eagle McMahon, anyone who's like in the 1040 and up, like if they're playing an A tier and there's not really anyone within like a 20-point gap of them, like you could
Mhm.
almost guarantee like a win.
I'm surprised that Calvin didn't sign up for it. Is he
Yeah,
going
Calvin's
like
in a
all
weird
stars?
spot in the tour.
I
Is
forget
he
what's that same weekend. That's like same weekend as Throwdown. I think is it a Silver Series or something?
Texas?
Is
It's
it?
gotta be. Is the Silver Series? So that would be the one at Roy G.
Is
It
she?
could
That's
be.
not.
I know last year it was like uh oh, it was like a weird swing where some people were going off and doing their own thing. Some people stayed in Texas, I think it was.
Because I feel like Nate Perkins would rather play Roy G than play Throwdown unless he wants. I don't know.
He was talking about how much he enjoyed the Grand Canyon course when he was on coverage. Let's see. It's the transitional period between the Open in Austin and Music City Open. Let's see if there's a
Okay.
Silver Series. Yeah, it's right in between Texas states. Oh no, hang on. Let me get my dates right here.
Yeah,
Keep this.
this is it. Like I saw the schedule when it came out, and it looked kind of weird because I know like some people were trying to. Because I know it starts in like after Vegas, it's like in Texas, like 3
Hmm.
events in Texas. Then it goes out east. There's one in North Carolina.
Yeah, the Blue Ridge Championships at
Is that after Throwdown? The weekend after?
that is the weekend after Throwdown, and then the weekend after that is Champions Cup.
Champions Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird thing, and then they jump all the way over to Arkansas, and then from Arkansas they jump over to California. So that could be a rough stretch, and almost makes more sense just to go over to Champions Cup or take a week off because you're going to be traveling a lot in the next couple of weeks. So that
Yeah,
could be
it's
what it
like a
is.
lot of back and forth, driving. Drive down
Mhm.
to Florida. It's like drive down to Florida, then you drive back up to North Carolina for that one, then you drive back down to Georgia. And you're just
Yeah.
like, at that point, what am I doing?
Are you planning to play Champions Cup again this year?
So, um, last year I was on the wait list. I wasn't able to get in. That was a buzzkill. But I would like to play it this year, but I'm planning my Japan trip a week before that.
Mm.
So I might try to. I was actually thinking about this like a week ago. I'm like, I could like delay my trip and play Champions Cup and then go to Japan. But looking at like the cost of like traveling and everything, I'm like, I don't know if that'd be a good idea. So I
What's
don't know.
what's the qualification process for Champions Cup? Do you just have to be a certain rating?
I think you have to be a certain rating,
Okay.
but I think my rating is gonna probably. I have a feeling it's gonna drop under 1,000 this next update.
Really?
Darn.
Yeah, because like I mean, I've been averaging like 997 and 998 the past few tournaments I've played, and so I don't know what rounds are like falling off from like a year ago, and then didn't play very well this past weekend, so I had what is it? First round at Lighthouse was a 1023. Then my second round was at 894. Yeah,
Nice.
but I think
Nice.
that's definitely not counting towards my rating though, because it's under 100 points. But
Yeah.
and we're not even gonna talk about Springfield. We're not even gonna talk about
I'd prefer that we don't talk about it either.
that. Oh my gosh, that was talk about a roller coaster of emotions.
Well,
Dan, Dan Alexander, not that you ran a bad tournament. That was a great tournament. It was just
Oh, I loved it. You guys are amazing.
the the weather sucked. If you could turn off the fans next year, that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, that wind was killer.
shout out to Josh Hatcher though, who got his first MPO win. That
Yeah,
was
boy.
dope.
In his
Heck
first
yeah.
MPO tournament. So
Super
Aaron,
super
something
proud of Josh.
yeah, super proud. He was very excited. Aaron, something I wanted to ask you as someone who's played in a Silver Series as well as in a major in USDGC. What is the difference in playing those two different levels and versus like your local, like an A tier, like Cho or something, Chain Hawk Open?
When it comes to like for instance like Cho for example, that's more of like a I feel like it's more of a family vibe because it's like
Mhm.
everybody and you still have tournament pressure because you want to play well in the tournament, but it's more relaxed vibe because you're hanging out with friends like the whole weekend. There's a lot of things to do. Your mind's on other things. Uh, Silver Series, I don't know what it is. Have yet to play good in the Silver Series. I don't know why. It's like I know I can easily hang in the Silver Series. I just haven't played well in the past few I've played. But it's a little more professional. Um, Not saying Cho was a professional. Cho is very professional. Chris Clark, you're the man. As long as you keep running Cho, I'll always play it. Um, yeah, Silver Series, it's like a little more professional. Everything's like set up for the players, which is cool. Um, Competition, like you're not gonna have like tippy top competition, but you're still gonna have the people that grind it out on tour. They're still just like gamers. They're definitely gonna show up for those. And when it comes to, for instance, the USDGC, I've played it 4 times. Every single time I've played it, have not played well out there. But the thing I love about that place is every card, no matter if you're on lead card or if you're on the bottom card, every card feels like a lead card because it's so like everyone that's at the USDGC, like that's the best.
That's what everyone's playing for.
Yeah, that's the best. Like that's the best of the best. Like there's no one that's really just gonna kind of just limp into the USDGC. Like you'll see, you'll have 1050s, 1040s, 1030s, all the players. All of a sudden you see a random 930 laying down there. You're like, where'd this guy come from?
Mhm.
And at USDGC, it's like it's the best of the best. Everyone's legit. Everyone earned their spot to be there, and it's game on. And just how prestigious the tournament is makes it even more important for people wanting to do their best and win.
Mm-hmm. How does that compare to Worlds? I don't know the qualification process for Worlds, but I know in USDGC for listeners, it's like you have to place it in a certain level in certain tournaments. It's not based on the Pro Tour. It's kind of what Innova picks. Like I believe Throwdown is one of them, kind of randomly.
Yeah, I don't. So I know with like Elite Series and stuff like that, like the people that don't already have their invites, like past champions or people who've gotten top 10 like the year before, top five finish, whoever, like the top five people that don't have their spots that finish in that event get their spot into it. And then there's playoffs for the fifth spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how it works with like Throwdown because Throwdown's, a regional A tier. I don't know how they worked that for it to be a USDGC qualifier, but that has been a tournament in the past where I've gotten my qualifying from. And one year I couldn't go because I started a new job and I couldn't go that one time. But
It's just Mike Barnett working his connections. That's how. That's
yeah,
how. That's a qualifier.
it must be, man. That guy gets it done. But I lost track. What was the other part of that question?
How does USDGC compared to Worlds as far as
Oh, okay.
atmosphere and like level of competition? Like I kind of the narrative around Worlds has started to become, and I don't know if it's just because Foundation is pushing it, that Worlds is just kind of a 5-round tournament, but because it's only important because it has the label of Worlds, whereas USDGC kind of with the qualification process feels a little bit more elite.
You know, I agree with that to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, because even at Worlds, you still have the best players. You still have the best of the best, but it's separated by A and B pool. Like you have, I think this year it was like under 1,004 or 1,003 were B pool, and then people over that were A pool, rating wise. And in my personal opinion, I didn't really like. I had fun at Worlds. Don't get me wrong, but just where the location was, like in Emporia, like it's a fun town. It's a very small town. Everyone's very nice, but it was just too small to where there was no real like privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would love that, but like you want to go get some stuff to bring back to your hotel. You want to go to Walmart, and you'll run into like 10 people that you know at Walmart. And you're like, oh man, you know, and it's just like it seems like there's always like eyes on you and everything, and the courses weren't very fun. If all of the rounds were at the country club, I would have liked that more. But like the courses is just throw really far, a little breezy here and there. It wasn't that breezy at Worlds, but
Not a
I
fan
don't
of
know.
Joan Supreme.
This year's
It was
Worlds
all right.
is actually going to be pretty sick, though, isn't it?
Yeah, this year's at Smuggler's Notch, and I would rather like I'm gonna go to Worlds this year for sure in Smuggler's Notch. Um, I've never played those courses. I love woods golf. The environment looks cool. I think this year would be more fun than last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always, I think, having two different types of courses is definitely, in my mind, more what Worlds should be than just having open golf courses with artificial OB and stuff. Like having more
Yeah.
natural OB and having more woods type courses. I'm all about that. But
hmm
Will, do you want to have a chance to thank any of your sponsors? Do you want to talk about anything like that before we let you go, Aaron?
I'd like to thank EV7 Disc Golf. Phil Arthur's the man, makes amazing putters. We're coming out with a lot of premium plastic lately. The premium Mobius just came out. So if you want to, premium plastic hyzer flip putter, check it out. Can't wait to get my hands on some of those. Like to thank Cosmic Disc Golf, Bullet Disc Golf. I'd like to thank, Daniel and Glenn Alexander for running the Bullet Bash this past weekend. They did a great job. I ended up dipping out a little early. Didn't stick around to watch Hatcher's playoff with Luke. Love both of those guys. It sucks that one person had to win. Shout out to Tyler Searle for putting on awesome events. He ran a good event in was it the Lighthouse?
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you,
Awesome.
and thank you guys for having me on for the third time. So it's an honor. I appreciate it. No, I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you for joining us. We love it as always.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Dan, it's always great to talk to Aaron.
Yeah, it's fitting. He was one of the first people we brought on when we first started the podcast. So glad to have him back on after a full year.
Yeah, a lot's happened in this 1 year. You and I were talking about playing in rec and intermediate and all that sort of stuff. Now we're talking about advanced and MPO and
Yeah. Hopefully our games have gotten better, but podcast forever mediocre. Let's go.
either our game has gotten better or we've just become more delusional, one of the two.
Yeah, probably the latter, but it's fine.
A little bit of the latter. Also, picked up some sponsors. Love this shop as always, and our new one, Spike Heiser Dyes out of Macon, Georgia.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess he's going to be dyeing our monthly giveaways. So if you aren't already following us on Instagram, be sure to do that. So that way you can kind of get an idea of what it is that's going to be coming down the pipe. But there's going to be the disc that we're giving away monthly. He's going to
It'll be every
dyeing
other
those
month.
for us.
Every other month. So this month, April and June will all be dyed by Spike
Awesome.
Heiser Dyes. And if
That's
you'd like
super
to see the work that Spike Heiser Dyes does, you can go check them out on Instagram at shdyes_DG.
Very cool.
Like to thank them for supporting us, and we look forward to doing all the giveaways with them. Well, Dan, I think that wraps us up for today. You can find Aaron on Instagram at Aaron_D_Doyle, Dan at D Hesser, and me at Evan Amstutz DG. Remember to follow the pod on Instagram at Mediocre Disc Golf Pod and on Twitter at Mediocre DG Pod. If you'd like to support us, buy one of our shirts on mythicdiscgolf.com and listen to us every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed the show, leave us 5 stars in a review, and if you didn't, still give us 5 stars and tell us why. We know we aren't perfect because we are